Welcome into MIAA Saturday. I'm Harry Loomis.
And I'm Calvin Silvers. This week, we're taking a look at the action happening on the softball diamonds around the MIAA, and we start with the MIAA's hitter of the week.
Jaden LaBarge led the Ichabod's with 10 RBIs as Washburn went 4-0 last week. LaBarge was 6 of 11 with a .636 slugging percentage and a .571 on-base percentage. The freshman also stole a base and scored a run. Against Missouri Southern, LaBarge had 6 RBIs in the 2 games, including a career-high 4 in the second. In the opening game against the Lions, LaBarge had a single that drove in 2 runs to tie the score, and then scored the winning run from second base to help the Ichabods complete the comeback from a 4-0 deficit in the bottom of the 7th to win 5-4. In Game 2 against the Lions, she went 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs. In the opener against Pittsburgh State, LaBarge had a sac fly and drew a bases-loaded walk, and in Game 2, she drove in 2 runs with a double and a single. I sat down with Jaden this week.
I am joined by MIAA Softball Hitter of the Week from Washburn, Jaden LaBarge. Jaden, how you doing today?
Great. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. So you're having a very strong freshman campaign. Coming into the year, did you have any expectations to have this big of a role as you've had?
No, not really. I was just expecting to, play my freshman role, kind of get the feel of everything, and then just try to do the best I can, try to get on the field or whatever, just practice and work hard.
Absolutely. And you came up big this week against some pretty strong opponents in Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern. What's that feeling and emotion like when you have big moments against big teams like that?
It's pretty great, but I wouldn't have been able to do it if none of my teammates got on bases. But just to get be able to put in those moments is pretty awesome to get the opportunity.
Absolutely. And you won Hitter of the Week, but you've also pitched a little bit this year. So that's 2 of the most important positions on the field. How hard is it to manage both responsibilities?
It's kind of hard whenever you first start out, but after doing it for a while, you kind of just get the mindset of you have to be in a pitching mindset, or then you have to be in a hitting mindset. So you just have to kind of switch your mindsets whenever you go into each position that you go into.
Right. And you are a true freshman this year. This is your first season at Washburn. What's been the biggest adjustment for you going from high school ball to college ball?
Just the probably level of competition, and everyone around you is their star player at the high school that you came from. And so instead of just being the star player at your high school, you're playing with everyone else who's all stars.
Absolutely. And you must have a bunch of star players at Washburn because you guys are having a stellar season led by your head coach, Brenda Holliday. In what ways has she really helped you so far in your career?
She's just always helped me anytime I need help with mechanics or just mindsets or just any questions that I have. She's always there. Any of the coaches are always there if I need help with anything, and they're just always supportive over all of us.
Absolutely. Well, you've been having an incredible freshman year. We'll be watching you guys the rest of the way. Best of luck going forward.
Thank you.
The MIAA Pitcher of the Week honor goes to Kylie Lynch of Central Oklahoma. The left-handed sophomore had another dominating weekend in the circle and had a hand in all 4 Central Oklahoma's wins as the Broncos swept doubleheaders from Northeastern State and number 2 ranked Rogers State. Lynch went 2-0 with 1 save and a 0.37 ERA while walking just 1 batter in 19 innings. She allowed 14 hits and just 2 runs, including just 1 earned run as opponents hit .206. Lynch threw a complete game 4-hitter and a 6-0 first game shutout of NSU, then tossed 2 perfect innings and an 8-4 second game victory. Lynch came back the next day to allow 1 earned run and a 6-2 first game win over RSU before picking up the save with 3 no-hit innings and a 1-0 second game triumph. This is Lynch's 4th MIAA Pitcher of the Week honor of the season. I had the chance to sit down and talk to Kylie this week.
I am with Kylie Lynch from Central Oklahoma. Kylie, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and it's not news for you to win the MIAA Pitcher of the Week. This is your 2nd straight week winning the award, but how does it feel to know that the conference is noticing what you're doing out there?
It really feels great, but I just really believe that without the work of my team and without the dedication and them, the fact that I know that they have my back, I couldn't do it without them, and I couldn't do it without my coaching staff.
And we'll talk about your team and coaching staff here in a second because you guys are doing some great things this season. But I think, like you said, you're giving credit to your teammates as you should, but you're doing some great things. You guys swept doubleheaders, including the number 2 ranked Rogers State.
Yeah.
And they have some good hitters. I mean, they're number 2 in the nation for a reason. So talk about how you keep your composure pitching against high-ranked teams with proficient hitters.
I've been ready for Rogers State since the beginning of the season. I mean, Rogers State and us are, since my freshman year, we've always battled back and forth. And just during those games, I think in the second inning, they had scored 2 runs, and normally they're not really talking in the dugout, and they were talking in the dugout, and I was just like, let's go. This is a dogfight. Like, I like being in those positions, and I like being challenged, and that's just something that I feel like I believe in myself, and I believe in my team, and I believe that no matter what comes during that game, my team and I will work ourselves out of it together.
That's a great answer. It's good to see that you guys have that connection, that teamwork. And you were just talking about, you and Rogers State, you guys go back and forth a lot. To you, is that one of the more exciting series that you guys play during the season, or is there
Rogers State is the team that, for me personally, I look forward to playing every single season.
All right, awesome. And then just talking about
conference, at least in conference, that is the team that I'm ready to dominate.
All right. And as you said, this whole interview, you've been giving credit to your teammates and whatnot. And as you should, you guys are now 4th in the nation after the previous weekend, which you guys have won 11 straight at the time of this recording. What makes this Broncos team so dangerous?
The atmosphere of this team is literally undescribable. I have never played with a team that works together like we do. Like, we click so good. Like, no matter what goes on off the field, no matter what happens, like, once we cross those lines, we are a team, and we know that we have each other's back. And in the dugout, like, just the atmosphere is crazy. And I really can't explain like how close we are. We play I have never seen a team play as good as us together. Like, we play together so well. And especially after the last 2 years, like, this is the team. Like, since I've been here, a team has never clicked as much as this year's team. And I think that is what's making us so competitive and so gritty.
And where do you think this is coming from, the ability to click? Is it practices together? Or are you guys hanging out after practices? Is it just the coaching staff bringing you guys to get, like, what is it?
It's not necessarily, I wouldn't say anything outside of practice or outside of softball, but during practice, we're all screaming for each other. We're all encouraging each other. If someone misses a ground ball, we're like, hey, like, you're good. Like, you're going to get the next one. And it's literally undescribable, like, how in the dugout, like, we are screaming at the other team. Like, we're going head to head at every team that we play. And I just feel that we know that we have a target on our backs. And especially like last weekend series was a big series. that's 2 Oklahoma teams. We played 2 Oklahoma teams, and like, that's a pretty big deal. And that whole week of practice, we were screaming. We were ready. We've been ready, like, for that series. And in practice, it's just crazy in practice and in the dugout.
So it sounds like Cody White, head coach, and just the other coaches on the staff seem to get you guys prepared and get you guys excited.
They definitely do. Coach White comes out with just as much energy as we do. Like, we feed off of our coaches, and they do a great job. Every day they're trying to get us pumped up. Coach White does funny stuff every day in practice, like, to try to make it lighten up the mood and stuff. But yeah, a lot of the credit goes to our coaches as well.
In that case, then, after you just told me all this, how far do you guys think you can go?
We can definitely make it to nationals this season.
All right. And I'm wishing you guys the best of luck. That's a great goal to have, and I hope you guys can get there. You personally, you made 28 appearances, including 22 starts. You have thrown a total of 142 and 2/3 innings in the circle. Does your arm or shoulder ever hurt after a game or after a series? And if so, how do you get ready for the next time you have to be out there?
I'm not really a believer in icing. For me, that's just not a thing. This season, my shoulder has held up pretty well. I've faced some it's not injuries, just like health problems during the season, like whenever we played Mankato. But as far as my shoulder goes, I I was telling my parents I never thought that a health problem would put me out before my shoulder because I mean, I knew that I was going to be pitching a lot this season, especially with all the injuries that's happened on our pitching staff. And I never thought that something so unpredictable and just, I never thought that would put me out before my shoulder, but my shoulder has held up great. My coaches do a great job. Like during the week, if I say like, hey, like I need a break, like they're going to give me a break because they believe that I know what's best for my body. And that's something that I feel that a lot of coaching staffs probably don't have. And that's something that I appreciate a lot because they do that with every single pitcher here. They let us know, like, if you can't do it, like, just let us know, like, you're not weak for not being able to do this.
I feel like that's huge to have a
It is.
staff like that where you don't feel scared to tell them like my arms hurt or my shoulders hurt. It'd be best if I just sat out for, so that's good. And it's glad to see that the coaches care about you guys as athletes and people and humans and whatnot. So that's awesome. Now, growing up, how did you get involved in softball? And when did you know you could really make an impact for a team when you're in the circle?
I got involved with softball. Well, I got involved with softball whenever I was really young. I got involved with pitching whenever I was about 8 or 9. And I went to one pitching coach my entire life, Steve Galt and Karen Galt. I mean, as a pitcher, you have to be dedicated. And my parents were the ones who kept me dedicated and held me accountable for everything that I've done. And I definitely wouldn't be here without them today. But I would say around whenever I knew I always wanted to go to college to play softball, but I think that I really kicked it into gear around 16 and under whenever I was going to all the prospect camps and going to California, the PGF, going to Colorado and traveling the country. I mean, I knew my parents weren't spending all of that money for no reason. Like they're spending that money to get me somewhere. And I'm very thankful that I ended up here. I wouldn't change that for anything.
I'm glad that you're happy to be where you are. And that's cool. One pitching coach and got you to where
my
you are.
entire life, one pitching coach. A lot of girls can't say that. A lot of girls hop around, but it was one pitching coach my whole life.
That's awesome. That's huge. And so like you said, this team is filled with just a lot of great people, a lot of great athletes. Your teammate, JC Minter, she received honorable mention this week from the MIAA in hitting. So I got to know, how often do you pitch against her in practice or for fun, and who usually wins the battle? Does she hit more? Do you strike her out more? What happens there when you guys?
I don't really know how to answer that question because during season, I really don't throw them to the players a lot. I'll throw stand-ins. They'll just stand in and watch my pitches. But during the fall, I do throw a lot to all of the hitters. And I feel that I don't really know how to answer that because it's really even no hitter really sticks out in my mind that just gets a hit off of me every single time, But I mean, JC Minter and there are several others on our team are very, very hard people to get out.
Okay. We'll leave it at that.
They definitely leave the, yeah, they're very good.
So you're just a sophomore, so you have a couple more years left for you. What's an area that you want to improve in as your collegiate career continues?
Are you talking about pitching?
Pitching, maybe softball in general. Just what area do you feel like you can improve on to make your game that much better?
For how many innings I have a very low amount of strikeouts, and that is something that I tried to work on in the fall, but that pitch just, it was a rise ball. I worked on my rise ball all fall, and really, you don't really see anyone biting at it a lot whenever I'm throwing, but I need to work on a strikeout pitch.
All right. There's a goal for you, and continue working on that. Last question for you. It's just kind of a fun one. How many pitches would it take to strike out head coach Cody White? Could you do it in 3?
Yes.
Okay. You don't think he's getting a hit on you at all?
No, he was not gonna.
That's fair enough. I might not want to show up this interview,
but he would not.
All right. That's fair. Well, thank you for joining us today, and I hope you have a good rest of the season, and good luck to you guys.
Thank you so much.
We are less than 2 weeks away from the 2022 MIAA Softball Championship. It's from May 4th through 7th at Broncos Softball Stadium on the campus of Central Oklahoma. The top 8 teams qualify for the double elimination tournament. Central Missouri will look to repeat as champions.
Looking at the Central Region rankings, Central Oklahoma takes the top seed. Rogers State is 1 spot behind, sitting at number 2. Washburn rounds out the MIAA teams at number 7.
That'll do it for MIAA Saturday. Be sure to follow us across our social media platforms and catch all of the MIAA action on the MIAA network. I'm Calvin Silvers. And I'm Harry Loomis. We'll see you next week.